You know, the Giant in Our City award that the Chamber gives recognizes people that really have stepped up and made remarkable contributions to our community. And no one deserves this more than Senator Orrin Hatch.
Who else has been a senator for the state of Utah for over 42 years? That in its own right has him standing awfully tall. I think he's one of those Americans that sees America as one of the great places in the world where if you have the idea and you have the courage and you have the desire to do something and reach and become someone, America is the place that was possible in his day.
Oh, he loves this country, but he loves to get to know people too, and so he's made friends with the president and the vice presidents and many senators.
Orrin Hatch and Ted Kennedy were friends, first and foremost. They were colleagues, but they became very good friends. Teddy and Orrin used to joke that if they agreed on legislation, one of them hadn't read it, but that of course wasn't true at all. They were able to find common ground by listening to each other.
I met Senator Hatch with my husband, Muhammad Ali, in about 1988 when we traveled to Utah. It was an unlikely friendship, but one I believe was not accidental. They bonded over boxing, but developed a friendship based upon their mutual respect of one another, their love of all people, and I want to emphasize all people, and their shared belief that we are here to be in service to God and to others.
As chair of the Senate Republican High-Tech Task Force, Senator Hatch hosted me on my first visit to Capitol Hill in 2010. Now, looking back, I didn't fully appreciate at the time how pleasant that trip was. I want to thank you for always believing in the importance of innovation, and for making it easier for anyone with a good idea to turn it into a reality.
Orrin came home, I guess, one day and said, I'm going to run for the Senate, which shocked us. But we all went door to door to help him and encourage people to get to know him.
Very few people really knew him well, but he was a campaigner. He was a convincer.
And I realized then that he could handle people who didn't see the same as he did and who thought different ways, and he could convince them.
He unseated a long-time sitting Democrat senator from Utah.
Being the longest-serving Republican senator, Muhammad would have said his friend was a 7-time world champion senator. And I know he has the cuts and bruises to prove it. But guess what? He's still pretty.
Orrin Hatch was a difference maker for Utah and for the country for decades. Almost no one who served in the Senate could match his extraordinary record.
The legislation that he has done has been groundbreaking legislation. American with disabilities, tax, labor law.
Over the years, you've fought for everything from immigration reform to keeping the internet free and open.
The one that really championed the affairs of religious freedom and seeing that act was signed finally by President Clinton was Orrin Hatch. And he invited me to go back to the White House and be with him when he signed that legislation into law. And on that occasion, I could see the great affection and the great appreciation that they had for Orrin Hatch.
It was Senator Hatch that was able to be an ear and a voice for the grassroots people of San Juan County to help with the controversial issue of Bears Ears National Monument. He was able to get President Trump to downsize the National Monument to what is advantageous to the local people. Donald Trump respected and listened to Senator Hatch because of his years of experience and the leader that he is for the state of Utah and then across the country.
It's not just how long you serve, although Orrin has had a long career here, but it's how well you've served. He's made a difference in so many different areas. He's really a unique individual, and widely admired by everybody in the Senate.
Teddy and Orrin worked together on the Serve America Act, and I was off the floor of the Senate, standing there with Teddy, watching the final speeches, and Orrin standing up and saying to the presiding officer, "Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that we name the Serve America Act the Edward M. Kennedy Serve America Act." I believe it was the last piece of legislation that he voted on in his life. It was an unbelievably moving and special moment.
That's real leadership when you have that ability to do it. Not that you just stand up and say, here's what's right, but to stand up and say, here's how we work together to make it right. He is a remarkable person on a personal level. He writes music.
He has enjoyed very much writing with Janice Cat Perry, and their songs are really beautiful.
He's producing music almost every year, and that to me is a phenomenon that I didn't realize was in him.
He went to Teddy and he said, "I've written this song, Souls Along the Way." And every anniversary, Teddy and I would go on a sailing trip, just the two of us. And we were on the boat, and Teddy popped in a cassette tape, and it was the beautiful song, Souls Along the Way. And we called Orrin from the water to thank him and tell him how beautiful it was. It was really moving.
And so he's a person that has a wide range of talents. He loves art, he loves music, he loves sports, and he's good at all of that. And yet when you sit down with him, he's really a very humble person.
When Teddy's mother, who was 104, passed away, we walked into the church, and who do we see but Orrin Hatch? We had no idea that he was going to be there.
Senator Hatch is a modest and humble man of great integrity, honesty, and civility.
Orrin always finds the best in people, and he loves getting to know them better.
He has a wonderful sense of humor. And some of the times when it seems like you're in the most tense moment, he will come up with something that causes everybody to chuckle.
He's able to connect with people at a personal level, whether he's in the hometown of Monticello, Montezuma Creek, the state of Utah, or in Washington, D.C.
He's just a good man, clear through.
He's still got a lot of zip to live and to go on, and so it'd be wonderful to have him back in Salt Lake.
We've always loved Utah, and to be back here and explore it a little bit, and it's going to be wonderful to be able to just stay here and live here and associate with everybody.
No one can begrudge you for retiring and wanting to spend more time with your beloved Elaine and your family. However, if I know you, you may be retiring from the public and from public service, but never from private service.
He has done so much, and I don't think the people in Utah recognize what he has done for the state or for our country.
Orrin Hatch is one of our great, wonderful citizens in the state of Utah. We all ought to thank him very much for what he's done.
Senator Hatch, I congratulate you on receiving the Giant in the City Award. You deserve it, and I'm glad that you are being recognized.
And there's no one, in my judgment, more qualified, more prepared, more worthy of receiving this wonderful award.
You've always been a great champion of technology and a good friend to Facebook and to me personally.
Truth be known, you are a giant among men and always will be.
And although you might be retiring, I know you're not retiring from public life. We need your voice, and I look forward to hearing it for a long, long time.
Thank you for everything you've done for Native American people, state of Utah, and across the country.
It's just a real honor and privilege to be able to say, I love you and I'm proud of you.